Welcome to LFN News, a production of LFN Media, bringing you the latest in celebrity news, with specific analysis to keep you in the know of what is going on around you. If there is anything giving the feds sleepless nights lately more than the thought of the impending New York appeal, it's Bonjean's filing of 2 motions last week, seeking either a new trial, or a complete acquittal of the Chicago conviction against R. Kelly. One thing about Bonjean that probably makes her stand out like no other attorney, is she likes to take her sweet time and thoroughly think through her every move. When the Chicago trial was concluded more than a month ago, it was hard telling Bonjean's next move. Although it was evident she would appeal the verdict, and indeed she hinted on the same, it was unclear on what grounds, as she equally went on to praise the jury for the good work done in her statement outside the courthouse, soon after the 12-man joined verdict from the jury, that saw R. Kelly win on a majority 7 out of 13 counts in his indictment.
And what is reassuring about this, and something that I have been fighting for and was fighting for from the beginning, is that if this jury concluded that he was guilty on the first 3 counts, would they care enough to consider the evidence on the rest? And they demonstrated that they did. And they did their job. They looked at each count separately, and they obviously concluded, as I concluded long ago, as this case was overcharged.
As most of the attention by the government lately has been on the 4 separate Cook County charges against R. Kelly, that have also raised a contentious debate on whether the government should risk to take them to trial, despite their glaring chances of acquittal, it now seems as though Bonjean took them by surprise with her acquittal filing. Bonjean and team are now seeking to overturn the R&B King's convictions in the Chicago trial. The team filed 2 separate motions in Chicago's federal court last week seeking a new trial, or a complete reversal of his prior convictions resulting from a largely unfair trial in Chicago that concluded more than a month ago. Jennifer Bonjean, Kelly's lead attorney, filed the motions with U.S. District Judge Harry Leinenweber presiding over the hearing on Tuesday, November 15. The arguments are expected to be heard at an appeal hearing to the 7th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals. Bonjean made a request to Leinenweber for a judgment of acquittal due to several technical factors, including the fact that prosecutors did not prove that the alleged tape of Kelly allegedly abusing Jane at his home was actually made for the purpose of producing CP. Additionally, Bonjean argued that there was insufficient evidence that the alleged tape had ever crossed state lines, which prosecutors were required to prove in court. Indeed, there was no proof whatsoever in all of the prosecution testimonies that the alleged tape actually made it across any state lines, the only technicality that would actually warrant any CP charges according to the indictment. It should be noted that it's the obligation of the prosecution to prove all the allegations against the defendant in the indictment, and in the event that they are unable to, the defendant should be found innocent. She also urged in the same filing, that the prosecution team failed to prove that Kelly had coerced girls to indulge with him. Now, these are all valid claims that could have been easily missed by a regular attorney, but trust Bonjean to pay attention to detail. It's no wonder she is regarded the queen of technicalities. She was able to take Bill Cosby off an equal-to-life sentence, getting the now 85-year-old legendary stand-up comedy star out of prison over a seemingly minor technicality. If you followed the Chicago trial closely, you will notice that Bonjean was very categorical in her cross-examinations, intending to get all critical aspects on record, clearly with an intention to single out gaps in the witnesses' testimonies that would come out handy in such instances. Indeed, listening the girls' testimonies closely, one can read that R. Kelly actually had real, meaningful relationships with these girls, and at no one time did he coerce any of the girls to indulge with him. It is easy to read that these were meaningful and valuable relationships that were actually endorsed by the girls' own parents, thus contradicting the details of the indictment, detailing the allegations against the R&B King. Bonjean's second motion asked for a new trial accusing Dr. Daryl Turner, who testified as an expert witness, of making false statements at the trial. Dr. Daryl Turner, a prosecution expert witness, intentionally misstated to the jury how much the government paid him for his testimony. He told jurors that the government paid him $250 per hour for his work, but Bonjean claimed that his contract was for $450 per hour. According to Bonjean, An invoice also showed that Turner billed the government for 6.5 hours of trial preparation, while Turner testified that he worked on the case for only 2 hours. Had the jurors known that Dr. Turner actively misled them, the jurors would likely have rejected his testimony outright, Bonjean wrote. Federal prosecutors have until December 6 to respond to Bonjean's motions as Kelly awaits sentencing on February 23. Although many seem to think that this is just another routine filing, often filed by defense attorneys after criminal convictions, the public should note that this trial is quite unique. It stems from a mixed verdict where Kelly was actually acquitted on majority of the counts against him, leaving him guilty on a misery 6 bogus counts of CP and allegedly enticing minors, that Bonjean clearly stated were appealable early on. Many are also unaware that the experienced Bonjean is tactfully building on a pending appeal of the same conviction with these well-crafted and timely filings. Our Kelly fans all over the globe are already excited about the filing and are largely hopeful, even though they expect the evidently prejudicial judge to still fight the submissions, in defense of the prosecution, who are expected to send in their response by December 6. Michelle says, "Let those that know not of Bonjean laugh this off as a routine filing, but they are bound to be surprised at how much truth this will bring out in defense of R. Kelly. The prosecution in Chicago was evidently the weakest there has ever been, having been merely supported by the prejudicial presiding judge Harry Leinenweber, but the truth of their glaring mistakes is yet to come out and Bonjean won't leave a stone unturned. They will never know what hit them. The government should have been more worried about the repercussions of their actions, paying of witnesses and throwing immunity deals around, than about scooping a few wins in the trial." Freeman says, "This is a very good start for the appeal. Well, the government must be shaking in their pants, knowing that now both of their convictions are on the line, and the fact the Cook County charges are also yet to be dropped. What is raised in the motions by Bonjean are all valid points that tell the truth of how R. Kelly was merely targeted with these baseless accusations against him, that the prosecution was unable to prove in the trial. The jury was merely misled, and I believe wherever each one of them is, are probably wishing they had been furnished with all the facts of the case." That's all we had for you today. Please let us know in the comments section below what you think will come out of Bonjean's motions raised last week, and what you expect from the prosecution and defense. We value your honest opinion. Thank you for watching LFN News, a production of LFN Media, giving you another view of issues at hand. To get notified whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now and hit the notification icon, and remember to give us your comment on the subject matter below.